So today we're going to look at radian measure. So radian measure is just a different way to measure angles. So you can think to yourself, just like centimeters or meters is the same as inches and feet, it's just a different way to measure distance. Degrees and radians are just different ways to measure angle sizes. So if we think 1 degree is 1/360th of a circle, right? So if we think of it proportionally, 1 degree is 1/360th of a circle because a circle has 360 degrees, right? So we can imagine a degree looking kind of like this, right? And that little guy there is 1 degree. It's 1/360th of a circle. Okay. So now, looking at radians, radians connect angles to the circumference of a unit circle. Okay? So, if we look at a unit circle, the length around is 2 pi, right? Because 2 pi r squared, 2 pi times 1 is 2 pi. Well, if we think of it instead of a distance, if we think of it as a rotation around a full circle, that rotation is called 2 pi radians. That's what the definition of a radian is. If you rotate the full way around a circle, you get 2 pi radians around. Okay? So what does pi radians look like? Oh, we can do a little bit of thinking again. And we can say...
Nelson, please call 406. Ms. Nelson, please call 406. Thank you.
We can say 2 pi is a full circle. So if we think about what does pi look like, well, pi must be half a circle, right? So that means that pi would look something like that. It would be that angle, right? And we know that that's 180 degrees, but we also know now that that's pi radians. What about pi over 4 radians, for example? So pi over 4 radians is, if we think about it, it must be a quarter of a half circle, right? Because pi is half a circle, and pi over 4 has got to be a quarter of a half a circle. So if we draw all that out, there is our pi over 4 radians. So that's how radians are used to measure angles. Okay, so now let's look at actually converting back and forth. So how many degrees are 2 pi by 3 radians? So 2/3 pi radians, how many degrees is that? Well, if we think to ourselves, the only key fact that you need to know is that pi radians is 180 degrees. So if pi radians is 180 degrees, then we can set up a ratio. And you can be really happy about that, because it's like you're back in grade 7. So now if we say 2 pi out of pi radians, so that means that I'm now comparing 2 pi out of pi, so that should equal something out of 180, right? So something out of 180. So 2 pi by 3 radians out of pi radians is the same as something out of 180 degrees. Now all we need to do is solve. So instead of dividing by pi, we can multiply by 1 over pi, and that's equal to x over 180. And now the pi's cancel out, and it's really exciting because most of the time they will. So this simplifies to 2/3 is equal to x over 180. And now to solve that, all we got to do is multiply both sides by 180, and we end up with 360 over 3 is equal to x, so x is equal to 120 degrees. So 2/3 pi radians is the same as 120 degrees. That's all.